Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Los Angeles Lakers obviously have signed Stanley Johnson to a 2-year deal. I say the word obviously because there was no path in my mind that we were going to have when we didn't sign him long term. Now, um, the fact that they kept giving him 10-day contracts was just a byproduct of us trying to buy ourselves some time with his cap space, potentially, to kind of maneuver some things around and maybe make a trade. But we just ran out of time. You know, it's one of those things where it's like if you couldn't give him signed after 10-day contracts, you would have to relinquish his rights and let him go off into free agency once again. And that was never an option for the Lakers. That was never something I was considering as a fan. I don't think anybody in the organization was considering that at all. Fact of the matter is, he is simply, arguably, our best wing defender. And he's helped us a lot. You know, we've needed some help in that area, and he's given it to us. Not only have we gotten things from him on the defensive end, but he's really given us some solid minutes offensively as well, driving to the basket, hitting open shots, and not being afraid to take those open shots, as well as rebounding the ball and doing just some key things that ultimately make him a very, very key piece to what we do. I listened to some people earlier today. It was Shannon Sharp. He was talking about how the Lakers roster is just not that good, not good enough, and he didn't, you know, he felt that, us starting Stanley Johnson yesterday, that being the fact that he's on a 10-day contract was like just a telltale sign that we're in the dumps. Mentioning that we had started our guy Austin Reeves as well, or put him in a position to be on the floor at the end of the game more so, was something that he just saw was a telltale sign to know that we were not in a good place. I disagree. I disagree with that particular point, and I'll tell you why. Because I know damn well those guys are exactly what we need to get the most out of those big three. See, you got to understand, it's not about us getting better players because we're incapable of doing that with our cap being as it is. We need to get the most out of the players that we have. And that's by design because you have 3 max contracts. So it's not like you're anticipating being able to have mid-level guys or when I say mid-level, I'm not talking about the price tag. I'm talking about their style of play being of a certain level, mid-tier guys, I guess. You're not expecting to have your mid-tier guys because you don't have that cap space. You have that wrapped up in Russell Westbrook, AD, and LeBron James. So, ideally, by design, because of the structure of these 3 contracts, you do want to start guys like Stanley Johnson. You do want guys like Austin Reeves to finish the game because they're the best you can have for what it is you're building. You know, that's the thing. It's like, now, if we were to knock ourselves down to 2 max players and we were doing these things with these particular type of players, then you have to say, okay, the Lakers haven't done their job, or they got hit by injuries and their mid-tier guys are not available. But that's not the reality of our situation. We dreamt this up. As soon as you bring 3 max contracts to your team, you know that you're going to have to do this. This is part of it. It's the only way you can do it. So it's like, I totally disagree because I understand the structure of how this works. If you want to fix that aspect of the game, you don't sit Stanley Johnson and Austin Reeves. You trade Russell Westbrook so you can have mid-level guys in his stead. And that's ultimately what I want the Lakers to do, of course. It's what everybody wants us to do. Because really, Russell Westbrook shouldn't be represented in the contract that he has at this stage in his career. It's not the production he provides. And so it's one of those situations where it's like, well, the Lakers misjudged him, picked up his contract, and now they have trouble getting rid of it. So of course you want to start Austin Reeves, or rather have him finish the game. Of course you want to start Stanley Johnson. He's your best wing defender. So that's just what I wanted to say. I'm happy Stanley's here. I wanted us to sign him. I'm happy it's a 2-year deal. He's been nothing but good for us. And he's home. Stanley Johnson's a West Coast guy, LA guy, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean? So you love seeing a guy flourish in his hometown, especially since we're seeing opportunities where guys aren't flourishing in their hometown on our team. You know, Trevor Ariza doesn't look that great. Russell Westbrook's had a tough go. These are LA guys too. We want to see them succeed as well. And it's good to see Stanley Johnson as a part of the squad, giving us a bit of that success. Especially since we know what type of path he's had. He's had a hard time. You know what I mean? But I it was read a couple days ago, the conversation that he reported saying in regards to having with Masai Ujiri. Masai Ujiri sat him down and told him he wasn't that good at basketball and he needs to get better. And it may have not set all that great with him when it came to him, but he took that motivation, he took that to heart, and he's worked hard on his game in other areas to make himself who he is today. And you can see it. This is definitely not the Stanley Johnson they had in Detroit. It's definitely not the Stanley Johnson they had in Toronto. We got a much better version of a guy who's working hard, who's earned his spot, and I'd love to see him ascend even further. Let this be the beginning for a guy like Stanley, because he was a lottery pick once, and now it's considered a bust. But I'll tell you, I don't see no signs of no bust. I see a guy who can help us. I see a guy with a pretty damn high IQ. That's what I see. He's made some good plays, passing the rock, as well as all the other things that you expect from him, and he's hit some three-point shots. Hit some good shots for us, not being afraid, which is very key. I don't need you to be Malik Monk. I don't need you to be Steph Curry. You just can't be Ben Simmons. And he's definitely not that. So I definitely appreciate what Stanley brings to the team. And I'm looking forward to him shining in the Los Angeles Lakers uniform for the next 2 years. And I think he's going to help us quite a bit if we continue to use him properly, give him the minutes that he had yesterday going forward. So that's what I wanted to say, man. Congratulations to Stanley Johnson. Happy you're here, man. BDL 44.